Do you swipe? Do you think strategically about swiping? Do you have a swipe file? How many swipe files do you have? How organized are your swipe files? Because Nikki, you're going to talk to us about all that. Nikki, swiping. Why is this so important to talk about?
All right, let's see why.
All right, you're going to dive in?
Oh, yeah. Unless we want to have a whole discussion, chatter kind of thing.
I like it. I like just talking. Clearly, everyone's like, zip it, girl. We are trying to do a tutorial. All right, I'm going to go on mute and just comment off to the side.
Cool. Okay, I am assuming that everyone can see my screen. All right, cool. Just moving all my boxes around. Okay, so swiping, using your inbox to write better emails. And Joe gave a little spoiler. We're not just going to swipe. We're going to do things a little bit differently. So hello, I am Nikki. And the reason I am talking to you about emails and swiping and all this cool stuff is because as my role of email copywriter at the Copyhackers agency, I get to write very cool emails for very cool brands, because the Copyhackers agency, if you know anything about us or even Copyhackers in general, which I assume you do, you know that we like live and breathe and sweat and don't sleep under this umbrella of like breakthrough and break best practices and like do things differently, big ideas, like just swing for the fences, do crazy stuff. So I wanted to kind of like distill how exactly we do that, especially in the easy, lazy way of using your inbox to help you do that, to help you generate and seed cool ideas. Before we get into that, I want to talk about the difference between swipes and like seeding inspiration from the emails in your inbox. So a few weeks ago, I was on LinkedIn and I saw this post, and I'm just going to read the email quickly. Hello, Rachel, it's Father's Day next month, and we know this can be a difficult time of year for many of us. So if you'd rather not receive any Father's Day emails, just click here to opt out and we'll take care of it for you. As always, we'll keep you updated with all the usual fun stuff. So I saw that and I said, that's interesting, because 2 weeks ago in a Slack group, I saw this. Hello there. We wanted to get in touch as we prepare for Father's Day at Foundations. We understand this can be a sensitive time of year and that some may prefer not to be sent any Father's Day related newsletters. If you would like to opt out from these particular emails, you could do so below. Don't worry, we'll still keep you in the know about all the other wonderful things happening at Foundations. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. I won't get into the whole conversation, but there's this kind of like take back moment when you see something that's swiped exactly like, I think they did a good job. Like they didn't, if you notice, there's a difference between like tone, like they put it to their own tone, and they didn't swipe it word for word, obviously. So they're fine legally. I really even think they're fine ethically, because that's the nature of email marketing. You know, you see something, you think it works, you want to test it yourself. The whole field is just very like, let's test things. And I especially think because this is like a sensitive idea, I think Foundations would actually be happy if they were doing it with any sincerity. I think that they would be happy to see this kind of thing happening across more companies and more industries. Like it's just a cool thing to have in the world. So I think it's sort of okay, but I don't think it's something we want to be doing all the time. I think especially if we want to be creating these like big ideas and these breakthrough ideas, we need to come up with our own things. But it's hard to just come up with your own thing. You kind of need to get some inspiration first. So that's what we're going to do. How do we do that? So anytime you open your inbox, you need to get your armchair psychologist on. And you need to pay attention to how you're feeling when you read emails, when you read subject lines, when you open emails, when you read the emails, when you click on the emails, what's going on inside. And then you need to dive even deeper. I told you were getting a psychologist. And to figure out what's driving that feeling. What is making you feel that way? So if you're feeling amused, right? Is it because of humor? Is it because, you know, they're being defiant? Is it like, what actually is driving that feeling? I know this sounds like, what are you talking about? Can you make this like a little bit more clear? So we're going to do that. We're going to use that example that we just gave. And I want you to think about what is driving? Okay, so you probably felt some sort of, like, let's say you were one of the people that Father's Day is a sensitive time of year. So you're feeling understood, you're feeling, like touched even possibly. Or let's say you're not one of those people, then you're kind of like, wow, that's like, you're still kind of feeling touched and you're feeling like that was like a really cool thing. What is driving that feeling? Hint, it's in this list. What are they doing to give you that feeling? Send it to me in chat.
Okay, so which of these is like at the core of what's going on in that email successfully?
Yes.
Okay, let's see what people are saying. Most are chatting to all panelists, which is bold. Well done. And cool if you don't want to, if you just want to, or to everyone, I mean. And if you just want to chat to panelists, that's cool. We have sensitivity is coming in high, awareness, really, it's a bold move gotten. Sensitivity and vulnerability, sensitivity and awareness. A lot of sensitivity, some warmth and awareness. But yeah.
So yeah, it's a couple pieces at play. But if you go back to that LinkedIn post, she's saying like it's super sensitive and we're recognizing there's a real person at the other end. So yeah, there's like this awareness and there's this sensitivity that's layered into this email that's giving this feeling of like, wow, I'm understood. Wow, I'm being accepted for how my life is and all that kind of thing.
Just as a side note, Tom wins for coming up with, what's the word for a new word? My brain doesn't work. Sense of warmness. Sense of warmness. Thanks, Tom. You win.
That's a good one.
Yeah, very nice. All right, I'll stop talking.
So what can this inspire? If you take this driver of this feeling, like what does that actually translate into as a new email? So there are these pregnancy emails that they tell you like, oh, your baby's the size of an eggplant, your baby's the size of a sweet potato, and what's happening in your body, what's happening with your baby, all that kind of thing. So given the fact that 1 in 4 pregnancies ends in miscarriage, and given the fact that 80%, 85% of miscarriages happen before week 12, what happens if we give an opt-out at the top of all these emails and say, suffered a pregnancy loss, and then that drives to some articles that can help, feel that support. So number one, you're helping people not feel this pain of like getting more emails that are talking about what's going on with their baby when the baby is no longer there. And then you're also keeping them within this ecosystem of the company because, they have plenty of resources that can support people that suffer pregnancy loss. There's all this support, there's fertility things if they want to try again, that there's just what to offer them. So it's this two-pronged thing of being sensitive to the audience and also helping them stay within the company. So this is sensitivity, but there's actually another layer, which is a mechanism. So on top of this driver is also a mechanism. So this mechanism is the Father's Day mechanism, and the pregnancy emails are both using the mechanism of an opt-out to be sensitive. Now what happens if you use something else to be sensitive? So mechanisms can be, stories, opt-outs, opt-ins, challenge, demonstration, downloadable, offer, tip, coupon. There's all different ways to layer in and to like drive this driver of feeling. Am I making any sense?
Sorry, I just came off mute. Yes, I just screenshotted this. Dig it. Yes.
All right. Cool.
No. Screenshot or shotted, doesn't matter. Keep going, it's awesome.
So what happens if you wanted to write a sensitive email that had a different mechanism, right? So this was a Father's Day email that I wrote and then scrapped because it just didn't end up working with the sequence. I didn't feel like it was actually driving sensitivity. But it was basically this idea of thinking like, okay, what about all the people that Father's Day is different for? And getting a Father's Day gift for a father doesn't work. So, okay, what about the other people in their lives that are fathers in a sense of just caring? So I wrote this and scrapped it, but this is using that sensitivity without the mechanism. Now we're going to do another example that is just the mechanism. So this is from Litmus. Forms in email don't work. You've probably heard this a lot, but it's simply not true. Interactive forms, blah, 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 blah. Help us prove our point by filling out the form in this email below. That's really cool, right? So they're obviously like, I would say that the driver of the feeling is like disbelief or picking a fight, that kind of thing. What is the mechanism? Tell me in chat. I meant to put this slide after this slide and forgot.
Sorry, under guest opt in with a question mark. Nashi says challenge. Al says demo, challenge. Demo
cool.
and challenge are coming up a lot, as is opt in.
It's so funny. I didn't think about all these like weave-in kind of things. Like there are more than one. But yeah, I was thinking demonstration. And what would this look like as a new email? So this is from Notion. And, you know, because they're not an email provider or email anything, and they can't just like show email stuff in an email, they say, okay, I recommend opening a blank Notion page to try things as we go. First, just start typing, create a new page and just type. So even though they can't actually demonstrate for you, which by the way, they do a little bit because this is a GIF, they have you demonstrate alongside, like, oh, do this together with me. This is demonstration. Cool? Okay, so basically, anytime you open your inbox, you get this little icon loading. Whenever you're reading your emails, you just want to be paying attention to the device that is driving this feeling and the mechanism that they're using to drive that feeling. And then you can mix and match for new emails. So you can use the driver, you could use the mechanism, you can use both, mix and match, woohoo. Oh. Now, if you're like, okay, I thought swiping is supposed to be easy. This is not easy. Swiping elements to the rescue, because elements are smaller. So you can swipe them without it feeling like you're copying another email. And it also can like become something totally new because elements are powerful even though they're small. So let's talk about brackets. Random newsletter, like how interesting is that to put the explainer in a weird sort of way in the subject line? That's interesting. What about 1 minute? So usually brackets are talking about like 25 hours left, or, you know, in 2 hours, this is happening. Instead, he's using it to say that referring someone is going to take you 1 minute. That's an interesting kind of thing that maybe we could play around with. Buttons. So there's a movie called Rev, and Rev, the transcription company, was like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. You can't take a movie and not make it about us and call it Rev. So we're going to do Rev number 2. And we're going to ask people to help us vote for who should play us. So please click the button below, go to Twitter, use hashtag RevMovie, and tell us what actor or actress you'd like to see play us in Rev 2, the transcription strikes back. Because we can't decide between the guy who plays Superman or the guy who plays Thor. Better encapsulates all that we are. We'll pick our favorite answer and send you the above RevMovie DVD as your trophy. So what do you think? We'd love to hear it. Tom Selleck, perhaps? Do you see that use of button copy? It is so interesting. By the way, Nick Guadillo is the email marketer for Rev, and he is always testing things. It is super cool. But he, instead of like explaining and summarizing what happened and telling you what's going to happen next, he just continues the narrative. So you're like, whoa, smooth click. It's really cool. I totally want to play with this kind of element and idea. Pre-headers. So Elizabeth Goddard's pre-headers are exactly the same with every single email that she writes. This email is really good. And it's the craziest thing because it totally works on me. I open every single one of her emails because it says this email is really good. Even if I don't care about what's inside, it's crazy. I'll be opening it up and I'll be like, why am I opening this? I know I don't want to join the online business playground, but I open it anyway because she says it's good. So like I have to. So don't swipe her line, obviously, but what about this idea of using the same pre-header for like a month, or even the same subject line, or like what could we do with repetition? This could be really interesting. Or playing with pre-headers in this kind of like way of telling people what to do and why they should do it. Really interesting stuff. Okay, one more thing. So when I was in ad school, I was given an assignment. My professor said, okay, Super Bowl is this week. Everybody watch the Super Bowl. And next week we are going to review the ads in class. We're going to discuss them and dissect them. And because I don't love football, I decided instead to go on YouTube and just find a playlist of the ads and watch the ads. And I came to school and all my classmates were like, we had to watch 4 hours of football. It was terrible. And I was like, haha, I just watched YouTube. And my professor heard me and he said, you totally, he got so mad. He's like, you totally missed the point. You didn't feel the ebb and flow of the game. You didn't like feel the ads as this like half entertainment, half interruption. You didn't watch like 2 ads and then football and then 2 ads and then football. You just watched ads. You didn't get any of the local ads. Like you totally missed the point. You got a curated feed. You got no context. And it is exactly the same thing with swiping emails. So really good emails, mill.com, like all these different companies that give you like a curated feed of emails, they are great for when you're stuck, when you need to write an abandoned cart sequence and you're like, I don't even know what should go inside. They're great for that. They serve a purpose. But when you're getting, like you're trying to go for ideas, you need to skip the curated feed. You need to get the good, you need to get the bad, you need to get the ugly, and you need to get them in your inbox. When people ask me like, how do I level up with email? Like, how do I get good? I just say, like, you see a lead cap form, fill it out. You don't see a lead cap form, scroll down and find the lead cap form. You just need to be reading tons and tons of emails. And then people will say like, okay, how do I handle that from a time perspective? Like, I can't have my inbox flooded. Can I have a dummy address? So I don't recommend that. I think it's really important to read random emails when you're in context the same way that your customers do. And I think it's really interesting to see which ones you open immediately, which ones you skip. You usually open, but you skip when you're busy. And which ones you skip, but then because you're bored and checking your email 4 times in an hour and nothing else is coming in, you suddenly open them. It's like really valuable information and really, really interesting that you don't get when you do this like kind of curated feed, a DIY curated feed. So if you're worried about inbox management, there's so many tools. There's Boomerang, there's starring things, there's marking as important, there's getting a VA, which you should do. So I don't want you to use staying on top of your inbox as an excuse. You should be seeing emails the way your customers are seeing them. And I make it easy for you. So if you go here, you can get a list of email lists that I don't read them for the content. I read them because some of them I read for the content also, but most of them, they're just testing cool, interesting things. And it is really awesome to see all these different things and help you seed new ideas. Cool.
Nice. Thank you for coming in here today and sharing this with us. We have a link. Ange, can you chat that out one more time for anybody who joined late and didn't get it? People are saying, awesome. Thank you very much. Your nurture sequence, Todd says, is worth the price of admission. That's awesome. So yeah, where else can people find you online? Nikki, this is not your first Tutorial Tuesday, but where else can they reach out to you?
LinkedIn and Twitter. And yeah, if you sign up, then you're on my email list. So then you could just email me and I check my emails.
But you will be swiping whatever they send you. You'll be like, what's the device? What's the mechanism? Yeah. Yeah. All right, that's cool. Nikki, thank you, and thank you, and everybody for attending and asking your great questions as well. Thank you so much. Stay safe, and we will see you for our next Tutorial Tuesday next week. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.
Thank you.